It started when I joined News North as a one-man newsroom, and after about a year and a half was able to get Jack Attaway, who at the time had been writing a sports column but was otherwise employed. I was able to get Jack to work for News North too. About a year and a half later, I got into a discussion with a publisher, and in those days publishers won and I got fired. I was tipped off that the same thing was going to happen to Jack, so I marked time for about 3 months until Jack got fired. And he came to me and he said, I just got fired. And I said, I've been expecting it. And he said, what do we do now? I said, we do the same thing as I recommended earlier. We start a separate paper for Yellowknife. I had advised my former publisher that you could not do the same job for both Yellowknife and the rest of the territories in one paper. He didn't listen, so we started the Yellowknifer, Jack Attaway and I. I think people have heard the stories about how it started on my kitchen table, and we used to start work on a Sunday morning about noon, putting a paper together and work through to about 7:30 Monday morning, take half the paper out to the airport, give somebody $5 for a cab fare. They carried the paper to Edmonton and put it on a cab to a printer. Then we went back to work and did the same thing till Tuesday morning. Then we grabbed about 4 or 5 hours sleep. Then it was time to start selling some advertising, and then by the next morning the paper came in and we had to distribute the papers, look after the courier boys, and then we got busy starting to write the next week's paper. So it was pretty much with 24/7. We had a 3 or 4 person operation for quite a number of years. It gradually grew to 6 or 7. Then about 1978, I had a chance to buy News North and got my old job back, but I had to buy the paper to do it. Despite many people saying we should have combined the 2 papers, I was still of a position that you could not serve 2 very divergent markets such as Yellowknife and the rest of the territories with a single paper, so we kept the 2 separate papers. And then it just kind of grew from there. We had an occasion to buy the Nunavut Drum, which looked like a good idea because we already had a news bureau there and it consolidated. Then when the paper folded in the Ditchell, we started a paper in the Ditchell. It looked like a pretty good idea, so we started the Kivalliq News a few months later in Kivalliq. And then things kind of stabilized until after the division of the territories, when again it became obvious that one edition of News North could not serve the divergent needs of both the NWT and Nunavut. So we separated the News North into 2 papers, one serving each market. All the way through, our philosophy has been to try and keep a paper as close to the community, the readers and the reader interest as we can, even though you're trying at the same time to cover 1,400,000 square miles and 60-some communities. So it's an interesting exercise.